Hello, everybody. I'm Sandy Scheinbaum, and I'm here with Elise Wagner. We are the founders of FMCA, and we're just thrilled to be here with you today to answer any questions that you may have. And we have a lot of questions, so we hope that we can get to them all. So this is being recorded, and if you need to leave for any reason, know that there'll be a recorded copy available. So before we dig in to your specific questions, I want to just acknowledge whatever it took for you to be here today. Elise and I are here to serve you. And from the beginning, when we started FMCA, which was literally at a kitchen table in my house, it was a labor of love. And it continues to be a labor of love. And I just want to share that now we had our meeting with Elise yesterday, and Carly, who's our COO, also my daughter, and she gave me this little guy, this little Buddha, and she knows I like pink, my favorite color. And it came with a little saying, and that is that happiness in life begins and ends within your heart. And that couldn't be really truer for us. It is a labor of love. It's heartfelt. We really focus on heart-centered. And we believe that this is really the key, that we are here to serve our students, our graduates, and our team. We have a growing team of people who are just also telling us what a labor of love this is. So let's begin and answer your questions.
All right, everyone. So glad that you're here, whether you're listening now or joining us later. So we're just going to dig in. And this question, just so you know, I'm going to be feeding questions to Sandy. So if I'm looking on and off the screen, that's what I'm doing. But this question comes from Andrea, and she asks, how long is the program? How much time commitment is required? And how can you build a successful practice? So I'm sure a lot of you probably have these questions, so hopefully this will serve many of you.
Sure. So the program is exactly 1 year, and each month there's about 10 to 15 hours of content, and probably 10 to 20 hours. It takes people, on average, it's maybe about 15, anywhere from 15 hours a week. People learn at their own pace. So some go a little slower, some a little faster, depends on what type of a learner you are. And what can you do with this as becoming a health coach? Many different things. We have a lot of creative graduates. Some are working in clinics with functional medicine doctors. Many people are doing that. There's a growing number of functional medicine doctors, as well as conventional doctors who want to hire health coaches. Others are wanting to be entrepreneurs, and they are building their own practice, literally starting from scratch, making connections, going out in the community, giving talks, and their business grows from there. And then we have others who are interested in things like corporate wellness, and that is also an area that is growing. So we provide guidance, support, nurturing for that very important process, follow up with how do you get work? How do you build a business? How do you thrive as a health coach? We also have people who add this to their existing career or business.
So there's a lot of different ways that you can build a successful practice. And Marnie asks, I'm trying to understand the differences between this program, FMCA, and a nutritional therapy practitioner. Any insights would be helpful.
Sure. So coaching is about being very client-centered. And so a coach comes to each session without an agenda. So nutrition therapy would be an agenda. That's what you would expect. You go to somebody who is trained in nutrition, and you might get a food plan. You might analyze their micro and macronutrients, make recommendations because you are the expert. So what coaching is, it's a broader philosophy. It is focusing on where the client wants to go. So they might already have come to you with their plan from their physician, for example. And what the coach does is really take that person where they're at, look for where they want to be, and what obstacles might be standing in their way. So it might be focusing on they want support about following a food plan that they've already received, but it might be about the stress in their life. It might be about getting better sleep, getting exercise, finding meaning in their life. So it's much broader than that, and we cover all those areas. So our program is about functional medicine fundamentals. It combines that with basic positive psychology principles, basic coaching skills, mind-body medicine, psychology of eating, whereas a nutrition program might be focused on, again, training you to be a nutritionist or in some cases a dietitian. So I hope that answered.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. And Rebecca. So Rebecca's got quite a couple questions, so I'll break this down. She says she's a graduate of IIN and IWHI, which is Jessica Drummonds' program. She saw on the website that there was an admissions discount offered for Jessica's program. Can you specify what that is and how that works, please? And so just to let you know, that is a 10% discount. And what I would encourage you to do to talk about how it specifically works is you can reach out to our admissions team and they'll be able to support you, and you can email them at admissions@functionalmedicinecoaching.org. And then she also writes, I have 2 health coaching certifications already. They're both very different, and since I'm looking to work directly with IFM physicians in the future, can you say how this specific training will be different? And is there any referrals or connections after graduation to be hired by IFM physicians? Great question.
Yes, so we came into being because of IFM. So I had trained to be a practitioner. I was a clinical psychologist for many, many years. And I was in the first certification class at IFM, the first 100 of us. And so Elise and I went to IFM because we knew that they had wanted to start a health coach training program, but they didn't have the right people to start it, to implement and develop it. So they were thrilled and they were very excited, and their top leadership nurtured this program. We had Krista Hughes, Monique Class, who's now our Director of Coaching Development. They were with us from the beginning, in retreats where we built the curriculum. And then all the faculty got on board at IFM. They wanted to teach for us. And so we have senior faculty like Dr. Joel Evans, who developed the hormone module at IFM. He's our Director of Curriculum Development. And so because we are a collaboration with IFM, we really have that advantage of all of the faculty knows and teaches for us. We teach the same material, just at a different level than you might get if you were to go through the IFM program, which is training for practitioner, mostly medical doctors. And we have IFM certified practitioners who know about us. We exhibit at every event. We're at every event. We have our live summits coordinated with their annual international conference. And I can't tell you how many doctors reach out to me. I just had someone Facebook message me, hey, who's in my area? I have a patient in Kansas City in my practice. I need to have a coach, or I need to have a coach in my office. So we are known with IFM. Why is that? Because our coaches are trained to speak the same language. So the doctors can rest assured that they know how to complete a functional medicine timeline. They understand the matrix. They understand the food plans, for example. So strong connection.
And Emily writes in and she asks, she says she's looking for an online school. She's in South Carolina. She definitely wants nutrition and holistic medicine.
So we teach the functional medicine food plans. We teach nutrition basics. We have people who are developing the food plans for IFM teach for us. And what we do not do though is advocate for going outside of your scope of practice. We're really, because we are currently an approved transition program for the International Consortium for Health and Wellness Coaching, which means that we observe their code of ethics, which is the coach's scope of practice, to not act as the nutritionist. So you will get that information and act as the educator, but you will not be the expert who is telling somebody what they should or should not eat. And so you will have that within the program and learn all about nutrition.
And I would just, oh yeah, go ahead, Sandy.
Yeah, no, anything else you wanted to add, Lisa? Please go ahead, jump in.
I would just add, Emily, and anyone else who's listening now or later, if we are answering some of your questions or parts of your questions, or you still have questions after we've answered them, please reach out to our admissions team. We have a whole team that is available to answer your questions, hop on a call with you, whether it's 5 minutes or 1 minute or a half an hour. We will sit there and answer your questions. They really are there to serve you. And I just wanted to also point out that all of our admissions team members are all graduates of the program, so they can give you some ideas, definitely inside ideas of what it's like to be a student and to go through the program. So I would say, Emily, if you are looking for an online school, you're in South Carolina, that's awesome. We have a lot of students in that area as well. And if you've got more questions about, around the holistic medicine and nutrition that we teach, I would definitely say and encourage you to set up a call with the admissions team and have an information call. So
yeah. The very nature of functional medicine is holistic. It's a whole person approach. Coaching itself is holistic. It takes into account the entire individual in their social environment, their family, their friends, the whole ecosystem, both internally and externally.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jennifer writes in, how difficult is it to get that first job?
So that really depends on the obstacles that you might have standing in your way. And my experience in working with students and graduates, as well as my personal experience, is what the biggest hindrance is: fear. Fear to go out. I have office hours, and so does Elise, and I had somebody in my office hours a few weeks ago who was afraid to approach a doctor in her community. She was really nervous about, how do I do it? Do I go in person? Do I send an email? And just the thought of it was causing a tremendous amount of fear. And so what we focused on is overcoming the fear. And one of the mottos that my friend Kellyanne Petrucci says, and she's a regular on Dr. Oz, is do stuff scared. And so getting that first job might involve doing stuff scared, making connections that maybe you may be intimidated by, but it's wonderful how it happens. It happens by, first of all, looking at who do you want to serve? So there's a lot of background work that goes into what's your mission, what's your purpose, who do you see yourself working with, where do you see yourself working? Do you want to coach online? Do you want to go into somebody's physical office? Do you want to be hired in a clinic? Do you want to build your own practice? So these are all initial questions, and we will support you and nurture you. And both for me and for Elise, we have office hours where we will hear if that was a question. If you decide to enroll, you have that question, come to our office hours. We'll break it down, and there's other people on the call as well. We meet over Zoom like this, and people will give feedback and suggestions. But we also have a job board, and we have a director of alumni development, and we have many people coming to us saying, I want to post a job.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, like Sandy said, we both have office hours. We are here to serve our community. We have an amazing community of students and graduates. We're all here helping each other. Once you are in the program, there's the students and alumni Facebook group, and people are constantly, oh, does anyone focus on this or that? Or everyone is sharing and everyone is supporting. And I think that's a big a thing to just highlight and point out. And again, people have come to my office hours as well and had the same kind of issue. I really want to talk to this doctor. I really want to go into this practice and just share, but I'm really nervous, or I'm not quite sure what to do or how to take the first step. And whether it's Sandy or my office hours, we're there to just support you, meet you where you're at, and just help you move forward. So, yeah. So we'll go on to the next question, which is from Ronnie. And Ronnie asks, what is the difference between the coaching program, so FMCA, and the IFM certification program?
Okay, so we train coaches, and our program is focused on preparing you to be a coach, or if you're already a coach, to hone your skills, to learn how you can become an even better coach. So we have certain content that's identical. That would be some of the fundamentals of functional medicine, functional nutrition. But IFM's certification program, which I went through, that is for practitioners. And in fact, if I were to do it again, I would not go through that program, because as a psychologist, what I learned when I got my certification, or what I realized, I did it for the love of learning, but as a psychologist, it was outside of my scope of practice to order labs, prescribe supplements, for example. But the IFM's program goes into great detail on cellular biology. Lots and lots of lectures, slides on the deep kind of the organic chemistry, the steroid pathways. It's really a deep dive into the science. And for certification, they require a very extensive case study and a 4-hour exam, which I just studied and studied for months and months. FMCA has many of the content, so you'll be getting all about functional medicine, functional nutrition. And what's different is everything is focused on, well, how would you use this as a coach? How do you support clients? How do you educate, as Tom O'Brien, who's on our faculty, would say, Mrs. Patient, you have leaky gut. Let me tell you a story that will make that real for you to understand what that means. So that's the level that we want you prepared for. If a patient comes to you, if a doctor's patient, and I don't understand this plan that my doctor gave me, or what does this mean? The coach would help out with that. We also add the very crucial positive psychology piece. How do you help someone through their strengths make these difficult diet, lifestyle changes? We also go much deeper into the psychology of eating and into mind-body medicine strategies. So that is where we differ. So primarily, if you are a medical doctor, if you are a practitioner, then you would go through the IFM program. But if you are an allied professional and it is out of your scope of practice, many of the things that would have to do with prescribing, then it would be FMCA.
So Norma writes in, she says, I'm retired from nursing. We have quite a number of nurses that go through our program. What type of jobs would this training lead to for me?
Wherever you want to go, whatever is heartwarming, whatever your mission and purpose might be. We have a lot of retired nurses. Many love this because it's giving them flexibility, because you can have a coaching session like this over Zoom, and you could be traveling, you can be anywhere. And so that's one possibility. And so it depends what you want. Do you want to have a more traditional 9-to-5 job? You might look at corporate wellness, for example, but perhaps you want to start an online group. Perhaps you want to give community talks. Maybe you have been a nurse for a long time. Maybe that's going to be the group that you know, and maybe you want to focus on serving nurses, helping them with self-care issues, for example. So we have a lot of people who are retired. We have one who comes to mind. She's in Australia. She's a retired teacher, never thought she'd go back to work. And she is now going out in Australia to the outback and just serving people, helping them get well. So what do you want to do? And then we will help you break that down in the steps might be necessary to help you get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you have other questions around that, maybe in your specific area, I don't know where you're writing in from, but you can always reach out to our admissions team, and they are more than willing to hop on a call with you and explore that with you. So Krista, she asks, and she says, you'll probably cover these, but just in case, about how much time does the series of courses take? What are the prerequisites? What is the total cost? And is this a field that offers part-time work? So I'll answer most of this and then give it back to Sandy. So we did talk a little bit about how much the course, how much time it takes. So it is a year-long course. And then if we break it down by week or month, there's about 20 hours of content per month. And it usually takes students, and again, you're all adult learners, so depending on how you learn, whether you're more auditory or visual, about 15 hours a week. So again, that's going to differ per person. And so when we talk about the cost of the program, so typically the tuition is $7,997. But for those who are enrolling, and again, don't feel like you have to write this down, and we'll follow up in an email with this, but we do have a December promotion going on right now. So for those who enroll by December 27th, which is a Thursday, and they make their first tuition payment, they will receive $500 off. So that'll be $7,497. And I also wanted to let you know that we offer payment plans. So we have 3 payment plans. We have a 6, a 9-month, and a 12-month, and you will still receive the discount or the promotion if you choose to use a payment plan. In regards to the prerequisites of the program, I wanted to go back to something that Sandy had said earlier. We have students from all walks of life from, I think, over 34 countries. Over 34 countries. We have students who are anywhere on the spectrum from doctors, chiropractors, nurses, nurse practitioners, nutritionists, psychotherapists, all the way to farmers and those who are career changers. And so although we don't have specific prerequisites as far as you have to have a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree, we really welcome all. And I think the one thing that ties every single person and student and graduate in this program and everyone in this community and really this family is a passion to serve and just a strong commitment and to learning and really helping others. So, and then the last question that you would ask is this a field that offers part-time work? And I would say 100% absolutely. This is a field that is just growing and is, the world is, yours to make of it what you would like. So whether you would want to work part-time or full-time, there's a lot of different opportunities and different ways that you can work to make it work for you and your lifestyle. So Sandy, anything that you'd like to add to that?
So we are not the school for you if you are saying, I have to make $10,000 a month, $12,000, $15,000 a month as a health coach. I have to, that if you think this is a get-rich scheme that you can, we've heard people advertise, you make money in your pajamas, while you're at home as a health coach. It's not that. What ties our students and alumni, our faculty, our team together is a passion to serve. As Christy Hughes, as Tom O'Brien has said repeatedly, coaches are the boots on the ground. They're the key in the functional medicine ecosystem. Jeff Bland, who's the father of functional medicine, one of the founders of Institute for Functional Medicine, says that coaching is where the rubber meets the road. And why is that? Because coaches aren't needed in hospitals and acute care clinics. That's, you break your leg, you don't need a health coach. You use instructions for what to do. But where's chronic disease treated? Out in the community, in grocery stores, where you have to make a decision. Should I buy this or this? And that's where coaches are really going to be crucial if we're ever going to deal with this epidemic, the tsunami of chronic disease. And this is what Mark Hyman talks about, having an army of coaches who are community-based, peer-to-peer coaching, going out and serving, meeting people in groups, using creativity, cooking meals together, really serving in that way. And we love, it's so heartwarming for me to hear about our graduates going out and doing things like that, really going out into the community and making a huge difference in the healthcare of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. It just reminds me of a time where Sandy and I, we had a practice together, and we would go out in the community and we would teach cooking classes. I think we did a bunch of different things. And we did cooking classes, and we did lots of different lectures and talks. And it was just, I think one of the biggest things beyond the education that was being provided was the community that we saw being formed afterwards. And that literally just gives me chills, because it's just so heartwarming. So
our mission is to create health for 1 billion people, and we're going to do it. And with every class that comes in, we get more and more people who want to join this movement, who want to be part of this growing functional medicine movement, which is growing by leaps and bounds. And everybody, all the leaders in functional medicine, know that coaches are the key to the success of this movement.
Yeah,
Doctors
absolutely.
can't do it alone. And they don't know how. They don't have the training to really inspire people to make the changes necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. So Deborah, you've got a lot of questions here. I'm going to break them down. So we'll get to all of them. But the first question is there a set amount of time that this gets done over? So we had talked about that. There's 12 months. The program takes 12 months, but Sandy, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, so it's 12 months, but often people will find that life intervenes. They have family issues, work issues, and maybe they feel like they're starting to fall behind in keeping up. We have 1 year. After you graduate, you will have access to the material. So if there's a webinar, if there's something you missed, if there's a reading you didn't get to, no worries, you can go back and you will still have access. And then we also have continued learning through our alumni program.
You answered a lot of those questions that she has in there. So let me just make sure I've got them all. Another question that she has is, how rigorous and demanding is the program? Is there homework and testing?
So not the old-fashioned way that you may be remembering from high school or college, where you have a midterm, you have a paper due on a particular day, and that is it. It's a firm deadline, and you get a grade on the test. We do have quizzes there for your own self-knowledge. We have a practical skills evaluation, because going through our program will allow you to sit for the ICWIC board certification exam, and so we follow their guidelines. And so our final evaluation is on your skills as a coach, where you are coaching and you are getting feedback on that process for you. So our requirements, the main requirement, we have live training sessions, and those you choose to be in a cohort group of about 15 other students. You have a course facilitator, and you meet regularly, and there are required number of those. There are 3 a month, and you're allowed to miss some because, again, life happens. But when you enroll, you choose a cohort group that is meeting in a time zone that works, in a day and date that will work for your particular schedule. And so those are requirements, and everything else, if you fall behind on an assignment, we do have assignments. A lot of them are group assignments, where you work with a buddy and you are working on real cases. In other words, we made them up. We have professional actors playing clients, and you learn about these people, and then you come up with, how would you deal with this? What are the issues that might come up in coaching this person? And a lot of it is also personal exploration assignments. You are focusing on going through a mind-body medicine technique and sharing your thoughts on it, for example, or doing an analysis of your own character strengths. And big people tell us all the time that one of the things they really loved is that personal growth opportunity.
Yeah, and this question actually leads right into that. And Sandy, I'm going to let you take this because I think this is a really nice one. Please expand on the part about how do you know if you're meant to be a health coach?
Oh, I love that question. So coaching is heart-centered. It's about listening. So are you a good listener? When somebody shares a story, are you curious? Do you ask questions, like, tell me, where do you, the crucial question is like, what matters most? And as you're in a conversation with somebody, can you listen while they share that? And are you the kind of person who doesn't prejudge or come in with your own agenda? So a coach is it's not about knowledge. It's not about being the expert. It's not about, okay, I'm a vegan and it's my mission in life to turn everybody else into healthy vegans, for example. It's really about being a listener, having compassion, having empathy, being playful, being able to just be yourself. And that's why we have you we follow the VIA Institute of Character, doing a character strengths analysis and really practicing those character strengths that you have, your top ones, throughout the year with us. And it's through those strengths that you will be a coach.
Yeah, and I would also add to that, I just think this is a really, really cool question. What would it be for you? What does it mean for you to be a health coach? And to answer that and really use the coach approach in the sense of, and I just want to reiterate what Sandy had said, is being a good listener and really hearing that other person, being present with someone. Those are such great skills of a health coach, and cannot say, how much that listening and just hearing someone is so therapeutic in and of itself.
In fact, the research on coaching shows that sometimes the best coaches are those who don't have a healthcare background. Sometimes the higher you are in healthcare, the more difficult it may be for you to step out of that expert role. It's certainly possible, and then there are people who are bringing coaching into their healthcare profession because they want to be more effective with their own clients or patients.
Yeah. And another question that Deborah writes is, are there suggestions for how to work into this field, and what are the ways to do that?
Sure. So working into the field in whatever way fits for you. So maybe it's looking at your community and seeing who is there. There are a growing, exploding number of doctors who are finding functional medicine. IFM's training events get sold out. So there are more and more conventional medical practices who are shifting over to functional medicine. So you can jump in that way. But maybe it's just whoever you meet. You don't know in terms of just what daily interactions you might have that might result in having some clients or spreading the word about functional medicine. And so there's many ways you could jump in. Maybe you never want to really meet with clients. Maybe you want to write. Maybe you want to have a blog. Maybe you want to do speeches. There's many different ways. Or maybe you want to lead groups. Many people in our community have started support groups, for example, and it grows out of there. So it's really endless, and it depends on creativity and your own really desires. What are you passionate about?
Yeah, and I just want to add as well that there are some questions on here about, websites, and you guys give me, blueprints or kind of cookie cutter things. And you'll hear Sandy and I kind of reiterate that this is very much a functional medicine philosophy and approach, and everyone who comes to this program has a different background. They have different passions, and they have different ways in which they want to practice or move forward in their careers, and we really want to provide that space to support and nurture them as they move forward with those. So we do provide, and we can go into this a little bit more in depth, we do provide a lot of support, additional trainings and things like that in business building. But as far as cookie cutter websites and, papers and things like that to get your practice going, that's something that we can support you with and certainly point you in the right direction.
We are also belonging to marketing groups and stay focused on our own continuing education as far as trends and what is going to be most helpful in that space. And so maybe a year ago it was websites, but for example, I was just at an event where they all said, forget websites, forget Facebook page, it's Instagram. Your Instagram is your business card, you don't need a website, and they walked us through how to do that. And so everything that I learned, that Elise learns, that others on our team learn, we turn around and we pass that along to you. We bring in experts who are in marketing space to share this so that, because this is a world that's constantly evolving. Years ago, you might put out a print ad in your local newspaper. I did that 25 years ago. Who would do that today? So we, as Elise said, it's not a cookie cutter, it's personalized. It's also keeping up with, what is the most effective way to market yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the last questions that Deborah had, and I think you answered this, was how long do I get continued access to the program and all the learning materials? And is there ongoing support after the program is completed? I just wanted to reiterate that we have an amazing alumni program that many, if not almost all of our alumni take advantage of. It's a way that I think one of the biggest things that people walk away with beyond the education and the skills and tools of being a health coach is this family and this community. And to have this as, you keep growing and learning and expanding, and to come back to this group of like-minded individuals who just get you and are willing to support you is huge. And not only is there the support, there's also additional programming within the alumni program, as well as expert webinars. And Sandy can share a little bit more about access to the program and learning materials.
Sure. So we have twice a month mentoring groups, both on coaching as well as on building a business. We also have Ask the Expert series where you can come on and write in a question. We have, based on what our graduates want, we have speakers who come on. Dr. Jim Gordon, Center for Mind Body Medicine, was just a speaker. Dr. Elisa Song, who's a friend of mine, functional medicine pediatrician, was on. Dr. Jolene Brighton. So we have an opportunity for you to interact with these people. And then we also have, because people asked for continuing education courses, so we have beginning, it's actually open for our graduates starting on Saturday, a Reversing Cognitive Decline. This was an initiative that Dr. Bredesen came to us with through IFM. And so this is a program that he wanted because Dr. Dale Bredesen, who many of you may know, wrote a groundbreaking book, The End of Alzheimer's, and has a cutting edge protocol for reversing cognitive decline. And so we designed this course so that coaches, who are so crucial in working with clients and caregivers, will learn how to coach through this protocol. And so that is coming. We have others that are coming up in other areas because people have asked for corporate wellness, for example, and men's health initiative. So we're really excited about rolling out specialty courses that will be for continuing education, because we are an approved provider of continuing education for ICWC. That is the International Consortium for Health and Wellness Coaching. It is rapidly becoming the gold standard to become a nationally board certified health and wellness coach by taking the exam, going to a school that is an approved program. So they are in the process of setting up a permanent approval phase. So that is something we're real excited about, rolling out these specialty courses, because our curriculum is very full, but we cannot teach it all in 1 year, and new trends, new research keeps emerging, new areas, and so we wanted to stay abreast of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And give you deeper a specialty. So you will have a badge, for example, that you will be known as, okay, I took this Bredesen specialty course. And so for those who've asked, well, how do I get work? The more you specialize, that is the more you are known as somebody in that field, in that area. And that's so important for building a practice or getting hired.
So this kind of leads into the next question. And Savannah writes, why choose this program from others?
Sure. So I like to think it's because of our functional medicine community. We are a collaboration with IFM. So when you study with us, you get all the IFM faculty, you get the support of the IFM leadership. We are really, really grateful for that collaboration, that we are a partner with IFM. You also get a team that is 100% dedicated to serving you, starting with me, with Elise. You don't like something, you have some issues, you have some feedback. We're very open to making it work. We have adult learners, and you design the program. If something's not working, let us know. We also have a very active engagement process. So this is not a school where you will just listen to webinars. This is a school where we have live training, supervision, constant discussion, where you really, really get to know the people in your cohort group. In fact, it's like the last day of camp, where if any of you had that experience of, your cabin mates, you're all crying. Well, people do that. They've said it when it's the graduation time. They don't want to let go, and there's tears, and many of those cohort groups continue on way after graduation to support one another, and they continue those calls because they really bond. And I think that is really what sets us apart. And I'm just not saying that for my belief, but this is what we hear over and over again from people who have gone through FMCA.
Yeah, and Savannah, it's a great question. I would again encourage you to dive in deeper and really explore this with one of our admissions team members. They've gone through the program. They can share their insights on that as well, and really just help you come up with a decision for yourself. And I think one of the biggest things I would add is, if it really feels right to you, if this curriculum, if the community aspects feel right to you, and if this speaks to your values, we're all about helping you, choose a program that's going to work and fit for you and what you ultimately want to do. We hope it's ours if that works. And but again, I would really encourage you to set up a call with our admissions team. It's just admissions@functionalmedicinecoaching.org. You can also just go onto our website. When you go to our program tab and apply, there's a place where you can schedule a call with our admissions team. So they'll be able to dive in a little bit deeper with you as well. Okay. Ellen writes, I currently hold a nursing license. However, it's inactive with the Board of Nursing. Would I have to activate my license again if I want a career as a functional medicine health coach? And is the training course offered on site, or is virtual attendance a possibility?
Virtual is 100% a possibility. And no, you would not need to have a prior license. You would be a coach. You would be a functional medicine certified health coach. Once you graduate, you could choose, this is optional, but you could choose to sit for the board certification exam through ICWIC and become a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. Those are what credentials you would then have to work as a health coach. And I just want to say one thing about virtually. So I have a friend who chose to go through the program. She thought she was retired, but now nearing 70, like me, she said this was her passion. And like me, she was a former psychologist. But she's really worried because she said, my husband and I, we take a lot of cruises. We travel around the country to see our children. She was really worried that she couldn't make it work with the live training sessions. And so she just posted on Facebook the other day a picture of herself. She was on an airplane, and she was able to dial into Zoom like this, and from up in the air, she had her live training session, and she said 3 flight attendants on the plane were gathering around because they couldn't believe that she was now on the plane talking to people, and literally from around the world, because we have a lot of global students, so people from around the world and lots of different states were on that call. The wonders of modern technology to be able to be on an airplane and be having a live virtual call with your cohort group. So yes, it is totally possible to do this 100% virtually. We have a fun live summit where we get together, and that's becoming a once-a-year tradition, but that is certainly not required to be there.
So,
we also have, I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but
okay. No.
I don't want to forget, we have live meetup groups. Whenever we are at a city where we're exhibiting or we're going to be traveling, we'll have just an informal meet and greet session. And many of our students and graduates form those on their own. For example, in the New York area, we have a group that was meeting regularly. So we encourage that, and that's what people want, that community, and that's growing.
Yeah, absolutely. Anne writes, are there any indications that the insurance industry will be reimbursing health coaches anytime in the near future? And are there efforts being organized to lobby for this?
So Cleveland Clinic has an insurance model. We have a practitioner in Texas who is hiring FMCA graduates, and that's an insurance model. So it is growing, it is changing, and the people involved with ICWIC, the board certification body, believe that once that is much more firmly established, this is a relatively new board certification, but that will also open the door to more insurance reimbursement.
And Mona writes in, how does this course differ from other courses like IIN, Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, and Functional Nutrition Lab, and the School of Applied Functional Medicine?
Okay, so several ways. First, we are in collaboration with the Institute for Functional Medicine. And as such, we really are tied to a philosophy. So some schools have many, many different dietary theories that they teach. We focus on what is evidence-based and taught through Institute for Functional Medicine in the area of functional nutrition. Secondly, because we are an approved program through ICWIC for board certification, we strongly adhere to the coaching code of ethics. And so we're very, very careful about scope of practice and looking at how to practice. It's where the coach's secret sauce really is within their scope of practice. That is that client-centered, going where the client wants to go, being an educator, being a listener, and really not being the one who's going to say, here's a food plan for you, or I'm going to interpret these labs for you, or I have a supplement that is my brand and I think you should take this. All of those, and we see this all the time. There are people who are health coaches out there who are doing this. And so our program is really focused on the health coach code of ethics to be in compliance. And so we teach that following those guidelines so that you will be safe out there as you go out and either work on your own or work with practitioners.
And Sarah writes, what is the daily class schedule? I'm trying to get a sense of the workload of classes while working a full-time job.
Sure. So 2 things. One, the daily class schedule is your schedule. How do you like to work? Are you a morning person and you're going to get up at 5 o'clock and you're going to work for an hour by doing some reading, listening to webinars, but maybe that's not you and you want to devote a big block of time on Sunday, or you want to download and listen. That's how I did it when I was going through. I found I had everything, and I would walk and listen. I would listen while I was getting dressed in the morning. So people have said that, you know, they're doing a load of laundry. That's their work schedule. It's not like a traditional physical building where, you know, I have classes from 9 to 12, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. When you choose a cohort group, you might say, oh, Wednesday at noon, that's a good time for me. And so I'll choose that cohort group. Another person might say, oh, Sunday at 10 in the morning, I can do that one. And so those are the only ones that are where there's a firm time. We may have asked the experts that are recording where they would, like this, where you would get an invitation at a particular time. However, everything that is like an Ask the Expert, that's always recorded. And so you can choose what time, what's convenient for you to listen to.
Yep. I would just reiterate the same thing. You can choose your schedule and listen to it, and listen to the classes when it's convenient for you. And just so everyone knows, when we open the class, so March 1st is when our class starts, you do not have to be anywhere at any specific time or any location. You know, you'll have access into Canvas, which is our online learning platform. If you apply and you're enrolled and everything like that, we do send that out a little bit earlier so you can start getting acquainted with the learning management system, Canvas. But just to reiterate, you do not have to be anywhere or at any specific time or location at the start of the course. It really is a space where you can create your schedule and listen when it's convenient for you.
Absolutely. Like for the September class, we made a mistake and somehow we weren't clear in the directions. And so we said there's an orientation that is 2 weeks before the class begins. And what that means is that is time when we open Canvas. That's our learning management system. And so there's training videos where you can learn how to operate it. It's kind of like, if you remember, I know when my daughters were starting high school, and we walked through the building a few days before they started as freshmen, so they could kind of walk through where their classes were and get used to it. And college has orientation, so we have those. But somehow there were some people who misunderstood, and they took time off work, and we just felt like, oh no, why did we do this? So this time we're gonna make sure we really are clear, as Elise just said. All that means is it's virtual, so you can go on any time. You don't have to take time. You don't have to cancel anything in your current schedule.
Yeah. So, and then Andrew asks a really great question. At which point in the course can a coach specialize? So, for example, in the Bredeson's Recode protocol. This is really popular. I'm so glad that this course is coming out.
Yeah, so from the get-go, we encourage you to start to imagine, daydream, focus on who do you want to serve, start looking at what resources there are, who do you want to connect with in the functional medicine community, in your local community, and then for the specific specialty courses, which are, that one is around 10 hours that it would be open as soon as you graduate, that you can just sign up for that, get your login and go. So think of those as continuing education, similar to, or actually the model might be like medical school. So you go through and now you choose to specialize, and then you can take some of those courses, and you can take however many you want simultaneously. But first, we want you to have that basic core program.
And this is a great leading question to the next one, is how much functional medicine is taught versus general wellness?
So it is functional medicine. The general wellness is embedded, but we also have webinars, content devoted to lifestyle medicine, because lifestyle medicine is a huge part of functional medicine. So if you want to look at it, the whole thing is under the umbrella of functional medicine, and then the lifestyle, the general wellness are embedded within that. But we have webinars pertaining to exercise, for example, and stress and sleep, a big part of this.
And then another question comes in is, what do you offer students who graduated in terms of help with referrals and business?
So we have an active job description or job board. We post jobs. We have a director of alumni development and provider relations whose jobs are to go out in the community to spread awareness amongst practitioners. We're really committed. Every event that I'm at, that Elise is at, is all about that. There was just an event that Elise went to in Orlando that was looking at a new area for us, is going into the corporate world and helping people. We have now somebody who's come on to our board of advisors who is an expert in that area because we feel that's going to be an area of big growth. And how you serve that community may take some specialized training as well. So we are really committed. I'm a born matchmaker. I'm always making matches if I'm with a doctor and they're in a particular area, and I'm always sending them names of people in that community. We will have find a coach search engine as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say that whether people come to Sandy or I and ask, do you have a coach for this or do you have a coach for that? We're constantly sending, or, at least posting in the Facebook pages, or sending people to the job board so they can post their job descriptions. So always wanting to support and help you with those. And then Salam, he writes, can a doctor be a health coach? Does this course teach online coaching?
Yes, we have doctors enrolled be a health coach, and we will support you. We have many people who are, whether they're physicians or they're psychologists or they're dentists, and so you are held to the standards of your highest license, and then you would have an informed consent where you could switch hats. And so as long as it's clear to the person you're serving which hat you're wearing at that particular time. And so those are scope of practice issues that we would work with you on to make sure that when you do switch hats and are in coaching capacity, you could, again, be that coach, whether it's going to serve having a greater online presence as a coach, for example.
And Sandy, you'll love this one. Will the FMCA coaching class give me adequate background knowledge to give lectures in elementary and secondary schools to improve health and nutrition levels for our malnourished urban poor minors?
Oh my gosh, yes. Big passion. Right? We have students already, graduates already doing that, whether it's starting with their PTA, with getting better food in for school lunches. There's so much that can be done. And we would love to support those initiatives, connect you with others who are already doing that. In fact, this is, as you brought up that question, it really reminds you. So I'm wearing my red sweater because after this webinar, I am going to my book club's annual holiday bash. And the book we read this month is called We Fed an Island. It's by Jose Andre, and it's about these chefs. This one chef got other chefs how they fed the island during the hurricane. And what were they doing? Cooking. And he said, no good those canned, tasteless, processed foods that they were, that they were being given. This is real food where they were cooking. They got like thousands of chickens, and everybody got involved. And pretty soon there were people who were just out in the community, and it grew and grew and grew till the point where everybody got fed. This is the kind of thing I think that's your mission as you ask that question. This can grow. It can grow by connecting with the community. And this is Mark Hyman's dream. And he talks about this all the time, that it is community. It is people supporting one another, going out to isolated areas, bringing things. And in the case of this book, it was chefs. What were they doing? They were cooking. This is where health coaches can lead the way to really change the health of this country. And particularly, as you said, you're passionate about children. And yes, that's where it's so, so crucial. So yes, I love that.
Yeah, and I just want to add in a couple things were bubbling up as you were talking, Sandy, is this is where health is created. It's in the community. It's, with a bunch of people. It's with health coaches. So absolutely. I think you'd have a lot of people supporting you and helping you, figure out your way.
And how to give talks. That's another thing we
Yeah.
support people in. How do you give a speech? How do you have an effective talk to capture an audience?
So I can't believe it. We literally only have about 1 more minute. We're going to take one more question, and then I can wrap up with just a couple little odds and ends pieces. But this question is, okay, so I'm going to combine a couple questions. I'm based in the UK. Is this qualification internationally recognized? And do you know how I can find out about the operating parameters of this qualification locally? And then the other part is about someone who is coaching in Asia. Are there trends that you could share? I'm considering changing my career path this year and want to understand the market a little bit.
Yes, so these questions are both about global initiatives, and it is growing there. We have a growing number of students coming from the UK. Many of them have gotten together with functional medicine doctors. IFM just had a training program in London that is growing, and so we would help you connect with those doctors. And ICWIC is an international consortium. And so that would be, there's also an association in the UK that we are, I believe we're applying for. I'm not 100% positive where that process is at, but again, it is connecting with locally. And the same for Asia. That movement is growing. A number of countries are becoming more and more interested in functional medicine. So we go where IFM goes. They just had a training in the Philippines, for example, and it is spreading. We are connected with a lot of those organizations that work with IFM. So, or all the organizations that work with IFM, we are making initiatives as well.
Absolutely. So it is 1:01 our time, and we just want to say a big thank you for taking the time out of your day to submit your questions, to be on the call, whether it's now or later. We so appreciate your time and your presence. And I would like to just say a couple things, which is, if any of this resonated with you, if the community, if the curriculum resonates with you, I would encourage you to, hop on an admissions call, talk to one of our admissions team members, get some more information. If you are really passionate and driven and committed to help others, and that 100% aligns with our mission and our vision to really serve people, we encourage you to apply. And just to reiterate around the promotion that we have going on this December, for those who apply and enroll by 12/27, so that's December 27th, that's a Thursday, and they make their first tuition payment, they'll receive $500 off the tuition. So that brings it down to $7,497. We do have payment plans, and I would just encourage you to reach out to admissions at functionalmedicinecoaching.org. So admissions at functionalmedicinecoaching.org to ask if you ask any more questions that you have regarding the payment plans and tuition. And that's really all I have to say, beyond just a very heartfelt thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Sandy?
Thank you. It was wonderful to be here to answer your questions, and I'm honored that you are here considering becoming a part of our community. So have a wonderful holiday season if you celebrate holidays, and bye now. Thank you.
Happy holidays. Goodbye. Have a great day.